No Good Takes, episode 18. Giuseppe Oliveri, Jeremy Horowitz. Plenty of talking about and more to complain about. The Mets are absolutely dead on offense right now. The Yankees pick up a huge win to escape Texas not being swept. We'll get some football talk in there. Don't worry. Some league-wide news, but it all starts right now. Jeremy, episode 18 of the No Good Takes podcast. Welcome on in. Big Yankees win last night. Needed it. How you feeling?
Mixed feelings to be frankly honest with you, because I mean it was a big ask, I think, out of the Yankees front office. But I was thinking if they lost yesterday, that would have meant that Aaron Boone would have got fired today, since it's an off day. So a little bit of a mixed feelings over here. But I mean, anytime you win a game, it's good. It was nice to see Bednar come in. 5-out save, 6-out save, struck out 5 guys. He was phenomenal, and that was the guy that we were expecting to get from Pittsburgh. And coming over, when they made that deal, I saw all throughout Yankees Twitter. I'm in the Yankee community on Twitter, and everyone was like, "Who do you want them to close? Who do you want the Yankees to choose to be the new closer?" And I saw one guy say the only guy who's 17 for 17 on save appearances, and it was Bednar. That's the kind of guy he is, and he's been really good for a long time. I know last year he kind of had a down year, but David Bednar, really, really good pitcher. It's nice to see him kind of get his feet back underneath him and, just shut the door like you mentioned. But it's just a weird – I feel like they're just in such a weird spot because – say, they get hot. I don't think they can catch Toronto. I just think they're too far back from that. And even Boston, I feel like we're 4 games back. They're 4 games back, so we're probably 2 or 3.5 back from Boston. So I just feel like they're just a little out of reach from those 2 teams.
I mean, right now, if you're the Yankees, I don't know if Toronto's on your mind. Obviously, you'd love to walk away with the division title, but how you stand right now, you just got yourself a game away from being out of a playoff spot. So I think right now the mindset needs to be just climb the wild card. You have a huge series against Houston at home this week coming up. You absolutely need that. This came at a perfect off day for the Yankees, but with last night and that performance from Bednar, that could have blown up in Boone's face. And I don't want to sit here and point at Boone because that's all we've been doing for the past week or so now, but David Bednar pitches the most he's done in over 3 years. I think 2022 is the last time he eclipsed that pitch count. And, with runners on first and second, he got himself into trouble in the 8th inning before that. Boone came out. He talked to him. He stuck with this guy. And that's a good feel for the game of Boone right there because Bednar was missing with some pitches, but one thing was on, that was his splitter. No one was touching his splitter. He was locating it. He should have struck out Corey Seager a couple of batters before on the outside corner. Didn't get a call. That ended up getting runners on first and second eventually. But that was a gutsy performance from Bednar. That is something that the Yankees bullpen desperately needed because everywhere you turned, somebody was blowing the game. Jake Bird lasted, 3 appearances until he got sent down. We're going to talk about Devin Williams. Camilo Doval has the opportunity to come in and shut that door, and he ends up having to sit in the bullpen watching Bednar do it. But, there was just so much with this Yankees squad right now. And to see somebody out of your bullpen just shut the door, and it could have been smooth. It could have been like this gutsy with runners on the last couple of innings, and you got to make some big outs and you get them. And when you're looking for really anything to grasp at straws right now, if you're the Yankees, that could be it. You could look at Bednar right now and say, all right, guys, let's go hit. Let's go pitch. Let's wake up. A huge series. In the words of Aaron Boone, it's right in front of us. You have Houston. Go do a job at home starting tomorrow.
I was waiting for someone to say that. Yeah, now Houston comes to town. And I think the Bednar save yesterday, I saw a Boone press conference after on Twitter. I saw a clip. He said he was originally going out to the mound to take Bednar out. I guess he convinced him to stay in, and thank God he did because he struck out Garcia. They won the game. But the Yankees need guys like that. You can't go out there and be emotionless. You have to have some type of mound presence. You got to play with some type of sack. That was what my former college coach told me. That was one of the things that stuck with me. He wasn't nice guy, not the best coach. But that was one of the things he instilled in us. You got to play with some care. You have to care that you're on the field. You have to care about not only yourself, not only the school, or in this case, the team you're playing for, but the guys around you. You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
when you're on the mound, you're isolated. You're the only guy who can control what comes next. Bednar yesterday, obviously, he knew that, and he played with some heart. He played with some emotion, and that's what the Yankees. I feel like they haven't had probably since like Josh Donaldson. And we obviously saw how that turned out, but I feel like they're just such a dead team all the time. You see with the Mets, they always have some type of gimmick or something so that they can kind of rally around. Last year with Grimace and Jose Iglesias and Haktua, the Yankees don't have anything that can like bring the team together. And I feel like they have to just play with some type of heart. And hopefully Bednar's performance yesterday sparks that for them. And if it does, then maybe we'll jump Boston. They're only 2.5 back from them right now. And then we play them in a couple weeks at home, and then early mid September we go to Boston to play them. So those are gonna be huge series.
Yeah, and look, again, as baseball fans, it's such a long season, and how it's been going for New York both teams for the past really month or two now, it's felt like that every game is a must win. It feels like you lose this game, you are going to slip so far back into the standings, where the reality is you still have a little less than 2 months left in the season. That's plenty of time. And you go and you jump over to the standings just to look at it, and it's not a massive hole that's being dug right now by the Yankees, at least. Look, the division may be a stretch just with how the Blue Jays continue to play. But right now, the Red Sox are on an extreme high. That's going to come down. Seattle is going to stay that mid-tier American League team, and I still think they have a real chance to bid for the AL West, and we'll see how that turns out. But right now, the Yankees are 2.5 games back of Boston. That's not bad. A good week changes that. And again, how the Yankees have been playing recently, it feels like you're never going to get that good week. And especially, I feel this for the Mets, and the Yankees have basically been the same way. As long as the Yankees continue to slide, the teams they need to lose just go on these amazing win streaks. And we saw it with the Mets and the Phillies. The Mets slowly treading behind the Phillies, and the Phillies just catch absolute fire after the deadline. But in terms of the Yankees, don't worry about that. If I'm Aaron Boone, my message to my guys is Houston's the team we're playing. Seattle's the team we're chasing. After that, it's a new team we're chasing. It's a new team we're playing. But the last thing I think they got to do right now is sit in their locker room with a whiteboard and say, Toronto, 5.5. Don't worry about Toronto. Because one, you got to catch Toronto. Two, if you don't want to play in the wild card, you got to be a top 2 seed in the American League. And that's not the biggest fish that the Yankees need to fry right now. That's climb the wild card. So at the very least, you get a home game in the wild card. That should be the very least.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think there's really any chance they catch Toronto with how good the Blue Jays are playing right now. But again, a couple good weeks, a good month, just like the Blue Jays had, and you're right back to competing for the division again. The Yankees host the Blue Jays early September, the 5th through the 7th, and that's the last time they see them. That could be a huge series to dictate how the division ends up. I mean, again, the Yankees schedule post the All-Star break, it's a very light schedule. I mean, you're playing teams like, the Twins, the Cardinals, the Nationals, the White Sox, Baltimore, Chicago, the White Sox again. It's a very, very light schedule to end the season for them, especially in September. So I think they can catch fire. The question obviously is, will they? Listen, the ball's in your court. The Yankees got an off day today, a much needed off day, like you brought up earlier, and maybe it's something to rally around. You have to play with some type of intensity. You have to play for something, not just to go out there and get your game check. That's what it feels like some of these guys do. Not only on the Yankees, but throughout all of professional sports. They just want their money. But and I feel like it's tough to be on a struggling Yankees team because the expectation is always to win a World Series every single year, and obviously that's not possible. There's no way you can win every single year, but every Yankee fan in the world thinks, it's World Series or bust. This team, I don't know if it's built to win a World Series, but it may be the most talented team on paper with the names and the guys on this roster since 2009. This team is loaded with talent, but they're just not a team. They're a bunch of individuals wearing the same uniform and wearing the same hat. If they can rally together and, just bear down the next month, 2 months, whatever it is, and go on some type of tear, I'm all for it. I want to see good baseball. Win or lose, I want to see just good, clean baseball. And if that's what I get the next 2 months, I'm cool.
I gotta say too, with the Yankees and they're losing, how Boone handled the media the last couple of days, like I've really liked it. He's taken full accountability. And there's been some sort of switch, and I don't know again if that's from Cashman saying, "Hey, dude, enough with defending these guys," or if he's just legitimately seen enough. But I really do like how he's handled it, and I think he used the perfect word. Intensity is exactly what the Yankees need. And I don't know if the expectation today is win a World Series. The expectation today might just be like have a clean game on defense and don't make
Don't make
any
an error.
base running mistakes. Like that's kind of how the bar's been set ever since really summer started. But no, the Yankees really do need help from within. Cashman put it perfectly. There are pieces to go out there and make a run. It's on the guys in that lineup. And I know we love to point at Boone, and honestly, I think this year we should, because this has been one of the guys who, like, I know you definitely believe in this, Jeremy, a guy who has definitely seen the better part of the media turning on people, and people always seem to have some sort of alibi or excuse for Boone. And I was one of those guys because, again, baseball, the manager does the least for their team. You can only do so much. You can't go out there and affect their swing mid at bat, But how it's been, these are managerial mistakes. Why are they making so many errors? Why are there base running errors? What is the manager doing? So to see the Yankees just piece together some clean games, a solid bullpen performance, a Paul Goldschmidt home run. How many times are you going to see that this year?
It's 2 in the
That
past
feels good.
3 games.
Wow. I mean, that feels good. It feels good as the Yankees. Okay. Anything else you want with the Yankees before we get to the Devin Williams debacle?
No, I think. Well, for now, I'm good. I'm sure I'll have more when we get to Williams, but no, I'm good for now. I'm happy they won yesterday. I think it could lead into a lot more positives down the line. And listen, you gotta have a good August. You have a good August, you can compete for the division. It also doesn't help when the Blue Jays put up 45 runs against the Rockies in 3 games. It's gonna be
No,
tough
it
to
does
catch
not
them
help.
if they keep doing that.
And we will talk about that because my Rockies, unfortunately, took a beating at home. But it's part of the sport. Okay, so let's get to Devin Williams talk because this is it. He shouldn't close another game for the Yankees. I think you could go as far to say he shouldn't come into another high leverage situation for the Yankees. Boone brought him in the 8th inning thinking something would change, and the same BS happened. It's just, I don't know what it is. He doesn't have it. Stop trying to make him have it. He does not have it. If he has it, it'll come in the 5th and 6th inning where he belongs, not high leverage situations with the game on the line.
Yeah, and it's weird, dude. It makes no sense because he was a guy who's been lights out, not just last year, for the past 3 years, from 22 to 24. The number came up on Tuesday night. He gave up 26 runs this year, and he gave up 26 runs from 2022 to 2024. Like, he was this lights out dude. And obviously playing in Milwaukee to playing for the New York Yankees is different. It's a much different environment. You see guys all the time shy away from the bright lights. We saw it with Sonny Gray years ago. We saw it with Frankie Montas when the Yankees traded for him. You saw it with Joey Gallo. I mean, the list of names is pretty large when it comes to that type of situation. But it almost feels like he doesn't know how to pitch anymore, or the league's figured him out. The Pete Alonso home run off of him in the wild card last year, I think that just killed him mentally. Like, he has no mound presence, he has no confidence, and he's just like there. Like, it's physically he's there, but mentally it feels like he's on his couch playing the show or watching WWE Unreal or something. It doesn't feel like he's actually there to care about the game and pitch to win. And going back to him on Tuesday night after what happened Monday night, it is insane to me. And then Boone coming out there and talking to him instead of pulling him with first and second, 1 out before he walked Langford, and then the long at bat to Les. It feels like he doesn't have any strikeout stuff anymore. Everyone's seeing everything from him. Maybe he's been tipping his pitches all year long. The Yankees can't figure it out. Or maybe he's just not that good. I don't know what the reasoning is. It's got to be a mental thing, and I think maybe the New York lights are just too bright for the guy.
It's just you have 3 names now after the deadline that can go and close you a game. Luke Weaver has been the most comfortable doing it for the last 2 years now. Camilo Doval, he's not my ideal guy to close a game, but he can do it for you. He's a better option than Devin Williams. And we just saw David Bednar, with you could go as far as say the best close of the year all season, the best save of the year for the Yankees, for the state that they're in and how he was able to come in and shut the door. Devin Williams can't do that.
No.
He's just, they know him. Exactly. You put it perfectly. These teams know him. He knows himself, which is probably the big thing. He knows himself. And I've been there before. I'm sure you've been there before, Jeremy. When you're in a big spot, no matter what it is, and the confidence is shook, and you just know that there is nothing you can do, and the worst outcome is going to happen to you. It happens. But for it to happen all season, you can go far and blame Devin Williams for the first couple of the months. Whatever. Come on, you're our closer. Figure it out. He'll get acquainted to the bright lights of New York. It takes time. But now you know what Devin Williams you're going to get. You know the version of Devin Williams that is going to be most consistent. I mean, yeah, you'd love to see him pitch, but now this is on Aaron Boone. You know him. You know what performance you're going to get. Why the hell is he coming in a big spot with the game tied in the last 2 innings?
Yeah.
Especially with Bednar and the performance he just had. That's it. If I see anybody besides Luke Weaver or David Bednar when they are rested come out to close a game, Boone is wrong. Simple as that.
And to be honest, I don't even care if the rest of it or not. Like, he shouldn't be out there regardless. It should be Timmy Hill or Mark Leiter or GJ Oliveri. It should be anyone but Devin Williams at this point. It's run its course. The Yankees are so good at not wanting to lose a trade. Like, they want to win every trade. I mean, you traded Nestor Cortez, you traded Caleb Durbin for a guy who was one of, if not the best closer in the MLB the past 2-3 years. It didn't work. Move on. I'm not saying DFA the guy now, but make him a mid reliever, put him in the 5th or 6th inning if a starter can't get out of it, and just move on because his contract is expiring at the end of the year. You're gonna in life, not just sports, you're going to make good decisions, you're going to make bad decisions. Things are going to work in your favor and they're not going to work in your favor. This one, it's not going to work. Just call it as it is, wipe the slate clean and move on. You have Bednar under club control and Doval under club control for the next year or two after this one. So they're going to be, and you still have Luke Weaver. Like, their bullpen is going to be just fine. It sucked it didn't work out, but you have to just acknowledge that and just move on from it.
Yeah, and it wasn't really, I want to use the word experiment, but it wasn't really an experiment. You knew you were getting the best closer in baseball at the time, but these things happen. And I always use this philosophy. I'm sure you're going to use it too. I'd rather see a player be great for another team than terrible for mine. Like, if Devin Williams next season, wherever he ends up going, because Lord knows he won't be a Yankee next season,
No.
he goes somewhere else and he rejuvenates his career once again and becomes a lights-out closer in baseball. It sucks. But at the end of the day, you know what? You got to say, I know what he was with the Yankees. I'd rather see him be successful in another team's uniform than continue to cost my team games.
Yeah, he'll go to a small market and pitch really well, and I'll be happy for him because he's a really good pitcher. And
Exactly.
I'm not like we know he's a good pitcher. He's not able to show it. I mean, look at Sonny Gray. He was in Oakland, then he came to the Yankees at the deadline of 2019. I don't know if that's the right year, but and then he was an expiring deal, and he went to St. Louis, and now he's been really good for the Cardinals the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a thing. People can't pitch in. People can't play in big markets. You see it all the
It
time
happens.
in sports. It's whether it's baseball or football or hockey or basketball. Like, guys can't handle the New York bright lights. Like, it sucks because a guy like this, you would think, all right, he can handle anything. He looks like he doesn't want to be out on the mound. He looks like he doesn't want to be playing baseball anymore. So it's time to move on. It's been time. It's the time to move on is we're like 2 months late. So.
Yeah. I mean, this is my message to Yankees fans at the end of the season. Smile because it's over. Frown because it happened. It's out. All right. That is all I wanted to get on Williams. I just wanted to address that this guy has become a problem for the Yankees to close. And especially you have 3 outstanding options. The Williams shouldn't even be in
Yeah,
consideration.
we still have 2 other mid options in Timmy Hill and Leiter. Like, those guys
Exactly.
can get the job done. Tim Hill was lights out all postseason last year. I don't wanna see Devin Williams ever again.
All right, here we go. Let's get to some Mets talk now, because let me just get this out of the way before we even start here. It is absolutely panic time in Metsland. There is no more making excuses. There's no more, oh, well, the starting pitching. Oh, well, the bullpen. The only thing that there is to say right now is that this core that you have developed, your bats, which was supposed to be the best 1 through 4, 1 through 5, are the reason you will not make a run. There's nothing wrong with the team anymore. There's no excuses to make. You suck. Figure it out. Why is it that Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo were getting no hit until the 9th inning yesterday? Why was that the case? That's unbelievable. I almost wish they got no hit, because at least I could say they hit rock bottom and now you could go up. But you know what? No, that's not even rock bottom, because there's still a perfect game on the table. I'm sure the Mets are going to suffer, because that's just how they've been. I don't know. Is it a leadership thing? Is it a locker room thing? I've been trying to stay away from the Juan Soto blade, but is this guy just come into the locker room and the contract's so big it's distracted these guys of how to play baseball? Because they were having way more fun when Jose Iglesias and JD Martinez were guys lifting the locker room up. Is Francisco Lindor not leading like he did last year? I don't know. I'm not going to blame Mendoza. I'm not going to blame David Stearns. Not for the lineup. Maybe for pitching, I could point at Stearns and say a little bit, hey, man, what was that? But for this lineup, and for what this team has been advertised as, and what we saw they could do earlier in the season, Eric Chavez? Do I want to go as far and blame a hitting coach? Is it a coincidence Juan Soto is having one of his worst seasons in the MLB, coming to a team where Chavez is the hitting coach? I don't know. I'm scrambling for answers, but there's too many problems to piece it together. I don't know what to do. Metsland is in shambles right now. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it kind of just feels like purgatory. They can't really figure anything out, whether it's pitching, whether it's hitting. Yesterday it was an afternoon game. I mean, you're facing Gavin Williams. You're not facing, like Tariq Skubal or Zach Wheeler or like
Paul
Spencer
Skeens.
Strider, Paul Skeens. Yeah,
Curse. That's what
you're
I'm doing. I just
facing
want to
Gavin
curse.
Williams. You're getting no hit for 8 1/3, and you have Juan Soto who comes up and it hits a meaningless solo home run. Yeah, even when we went on Wednesday night, it was dead. They were up to nothing, and it felt like that place was sold. It felt like it was sold out on Wednesday night, and it was dead quiet the entire game. They were up to nothing until like the 3rd, and then the game was tied, and they gave up another one in like the 4th or 5th inning. But dude, even like being there, it was dead. It felt like UBS. It was so quiet. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense, because again, this is a team with loads of talent. You have huge names on the roster. Pete Alonso could be playing in his final year as a New York Met. Like, you would think the fans they're there to appreciate being a good baseball, or being a team that's supposed to be a good baseball team again, because they've been bad for so long. You would think the fans are there to rally around their guys and just be loud, be annoying and obnoxious for 9 innings, because they haven't seen good baseball since 2015. Consistently. Yeah, it's definitely panic time. They can hit, and it's not even like the pitching has been bad. They can't out hit their problems on the mound because they don't hit. Lindor has been bad pretty much ever since April, post April. Alonso hasn't done anything. Soto, like you said, is having, I think, his worst year ever in the MLB. Nimmo has been dead quiet. Vientos has been terrible pretty much all year. It's weird because they were on they were 20 games over 500 when the season started. They were just on a 7-game win streak like a week ago, and it feels like they just can't make up any ground on Philadelphia. Granted, they're only 2.5 games back as of today, but it feels like they're just like heaps away from them and the rest of the National League.
Yeah, again, to my point earlier, You still have a little less than 2 months left in the season, but just how it's going, like 2.5 can be erased in a good week. But just how it's going right now, it feels like it's 10.5.
Yeah.
Feels like that it's over. And oh my God, this is my whole idea with the Mets right now, with how bad they have been. And yeah, 21 games over 500. This could be like up there again for one of their worst collapses ever, especially if, I'm not ready to press this button yet. If they miss the playoffs, I don't think they will. I still think they'll get in, but if they go out in the first round, my bare minimum for the Mets going into this season, NLCS, you need to get back. And it still holds true. If the Mets get bounced in the wild card or the division series, this season was a failure. Absolute failure.
Understand.
If next year is going to be you put all your chips into one basket, all your eggs into one basket, you got to, no. If you're Steve Cohen, you got to know that this team, who this is your core, this is it, can do it. And they can't. And when the young guys are coming up, and they've been the mass production of the last month or so, that's a problem. It's a massive, massive problem. And I don't know an answer. Mendoza's trying to play around with the lineup a little bit. I liked it putting Soto back in the 2-hole and, spark some life in this life in this team. And you get one hit. You almost got no hit. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why it's like this. It's just that, we've seen it with these Mets before where, your core goes quiet. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. It's nothing new, but not like this. This is a new extreme. What did I say a month ago or 2 months ago? Don't panic. It's a slump. These things happen. The Mets fans, you were spoiled last year. 24, that team was great until June, until they got eliminated to the playoffs because they had to be. And here they are now. They've been terrible from June to the current date. And they don't need to be great right now because they're still in a playoff spot. But sooner rather than later, they're going to be on the edge. Cincinnati will knock on the door, and it'll be a failure. A massive collapse and a massive failure for a terrible team. That's what we are going towards.
Yeah, it just feels like a free fall. That's the only way I could really put it. Again, I don't watch nearly as much Mets baseball as you do, but every time I turn the TV on, it feels like they're behind or they're doing something to lose a game. And it's not like they're making errors defensively or not running the bases well. They just can't score. They can't hit with guys on. And yesterday they almost literally didn't get a hit. It's just the offense has been so stagnant for such an extended period of time. I don't think the only guy I think you can blame is Chavez. I think it's time to fire him. Move on. I don't even know if you need, these guys are so good. I don't know what a hitting coach does in the MLB. You know what I mean? These guys have gotten here and they've been so good for so long. What is he going to tell Juan Soto? How are you changing Juan Soto's swing? You changing his approach? That's just stupid. You're going to go out there and tell Lindor how to reinvent his swing? It doesn't make any sense. These guys, Soto had a huge year last year. Lindor was the MVP runner-up last year. There should have been no change for these guys. It feels like maybe they're just trying to do too much. And again, there's so much season left. But it just feels like it's slipping away from them. Again, only 2.5 out of first place in their division. That's a good couple days and a bad couple days for Philly. That's all it is. But
That's all it is.
Like it's slipping from their grasp. And it's sad to see because they were a fun team last year. Coming into this year, they looked like they were going to be the juggernaut of the MLB. And now where we stand, they're still 11 games over. But it's not nearly the same team it was a couple months ago.
It's not, because the beginning of the year, the Mets were marching into LA against the Dodgers, and they gave them a run for their money. And I remember sitting there at the time and saying to myself, damn, you just held with the class of baseball. I feel great. I feel awesome. And how about this stat, Jeremy? I'm going to have to double check this right now, but as of right now, this is the stat that I have. The Mets' last game where they scored first was July 23rd. It's August 7th. Every time since then, the Mets have been behind. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
That's
well, I
one
feel
quick
like they
search.
scored first on Wednesday
Did
or
they?
Tuesday when we went. Tuesday, but yeah, whenever we went Tuesday.
They
Yeah,
did. So this can't be right. What the hell am I looking
yeah,
at?
they scored. I mean, it was in the first inning. They had the Alonso sack fly,
That's
and then
right.
they scored
And then they
2
blew it.
runs in
And
the
then they
first win. They
blew it.
scored, yeah, and then
Okay. Good
it
job,
was 2-0
Google.
Mets, and then the Guardians tied it, and the Mets just didn't do anything. They had maybe 2 or 3 base runners from like the third inning on.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So that's why I don't trust Google, I guess, but we can still go with terrible things to talk about the Mets. You're going to
Yeah,
Milwaukee tomorrow. You're in Milwaukee, the
yes,
best
that's
team
big.
in the league
That's a big,
against the
big
best
series.
pitching in the league. Screwed.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. That's a big, big series.
We talk about how a good week can get the Mets right back in 10 at least. How about a bad week? We didn't talk about a bad week. They'd be 5.5 back by the time this week is over. How
Yeah,
it's trending
theoretically,
right
you could.
now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about the Mets. There's nothing
Yeah,
good to say, and I can only complain so much about
there is
them.
nothing else to say, dude. It's bad.
All right, then you know what? Let's move on. Let's get the hell off of Mets topics because I've had enough. That is just. Oh, and one more thing. We'll get out of here. I did put this on the rundown. Who is to blame for this slide? If you had to like point at one guy, who would you blame?
It's tough because I don't want to pick a coach or a staff member. Like I think it falls on the shoulders of like Lindor and Alonso. Obviously, their production hasn't been there, but like they're supposed to be the leaders of this team in the clubhouse and behind the scenes. And you could say the same thing about Aaron Judge. You don't see them doing much of rallying these guys or saying something when things go awry or doing something to like ignite the roster, ignite the bench. Like, but then again, when you're going through, the ebbs and flows of a baseball season every single day, and you got to play the hottest team since the All-Star break in Cleveland, and you blow a lead on a Tuesday night, you get no hit on a Wednesday or one hit on a Wednesday afternoon. Like, it's tough to feel like you want to be there. Like, I think you need your big guys like Lindor and Alonso to get these guys going because Juan Soto is not that kind of guy.
No.
He's not a team guy. He's a me guy. He cares about himself first, and he wants his money. He's been, he's made that very clear the past few months. He wants his money. He's not there to make friends or, just do anything but collect his game checks and let his family for the next 17 generations just swim in generational wealth. But I think it falls on Lindor and Alonso's shoulders the most. And it's not fair to blame them, but when they're not hitting and they're the two cornerstones of this team, I think they're the only two guys you can kind of point fingers at and say they need to do more.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's so hard to blame a single person because this is as a team. We're talking about the Yankees need to be a team. The Mets as a team right now suck. This is not what we want to see as a team. But it's just so much of the same. And you saw like flashes from Lindor and Alonso. I had a 4-for-5 game the other night. It's there. And here's the last point I want to make is that this team right now is so mentally weak. And we talked about it with the Yankees against the Marlins when they lost that first game of the series, and that just set the tone. The same exact thing just happened with the
Yeah.
Mets for the Giants and the Mets against the Guardians. You come back, you're not able to finish the job in extras, and it sets the tone for the entire series.
Yep.
Losers of 8 of their last 9, the Mets. That opening series, man, just sets a tone for a team that is done. They're mentally checked out, and I don't know what it's going to take for them to get back into it. Okay, that's done there. Let's get to some league-wide stuff, and I want to start with the Brewers because the Brewers have been absolutely, like, incredible. And we were talking about at the deadline, they need this one more bat. They need one more bat. This pitching is great, but if you can't hit, you can't hit. Andrew Vaughn was that one more bat. How this guy has been hitting since he arrived to Milwaukee. How about this stat, Jeremy? This one is real that I know of. How Andrew Vaughn's been playing since he's been traded to the Brewers. If he was in a 162-game season, he'd be on pace for 201 RBIs with the Brewers. The guy is an animal. His
That's insane.
numbers, he has 77 at-bats with Milwaukee. He has a 1145 OPS. His slugging is at 701. He's batting 377, a 444 on base. He struck out 12 times.
In 77 at bats?
In 77 at-bats, he struck out 12 times.
That's insane.
He is on another planet. So my question to you is, it's tough to compare apples and oranges here. But I mean, it'll be an easier answer when the season's over. But where does this guy rank among the top hitters in the MLB? Because for me, he's right up there. Scariest guys to face, he's right up there.
Yeah, at least for right now, I can agree with that. I mean, I feel like anyone coming from the Chicago White Sox will be very happy to go play somewhere else and play meaningful baseball, just like the Brewers are doing. And I liked Andrew Vaughn with the White Sox. He had a couple good years there, a few years back. But what he's doing right now, it's video game type stuff. You got to think eventually it'll cool down, but hopefully not to the point where he's hitting like he was as a White Sox again. They need a guy like this come playoff time. And if he could stay hot and just be, the rock in their lineup that everyone can kind of lean on, they're very scary. They're a very, very scary team come October. And I don't put him, near Judge or Ohtani or Soto or guys like that, but he's probably in like the second or third tier of hitters in the MLB right now. Like I put him with guys probably near like I don't know, like Ellie and like O'Neal Cruz, guys like that.
I think he's better than that. He is.
Yeah, O'Neal Cruz isn't a very good comparison.
I put him there. Like I would put him like with how he's just ever since he with the Brewers, and I can't say what he's on with the White Sox. He got waived by the White Sox, but how he's been with the Brewers, he's in the same conversation as like a Kyle Schwarber. I feel like.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Schwarber.
If we're looking at on pace for a 162 game season, and I know that it's unfair to do that because last season Judge was on pace for like 75, 80 home runs, like the first 2 weeks of the season. Like those things cool off.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, this guy's putting up video game numbers.
Yeah, it's insane.
If he got traded a little earlier in the season, he'd be in MVP talks, I'm sure. He's just outstanding. He's phenomenal, and they're a scary team. And I say it about the Brewers all the time. To the regular season champions, they can't make enough noise in October to go far. But yeah, this feels different. And we've said that for a bunch of teams in the past, not even just baseball. The LA Kings felt different. The LA Rams felt, a lot of LA teams felt different. This feels different for Milwaukee. The good different. Like a run can be made here. And
I think Tova agrees. She agrees with you.
God, are you kidding me? This dog with her freaking mouth, bro. But yeah, look, postseason starts today. I think they're running through the National League. This is a team that's just shown no flaws. I mean, when Mizorowski comes back from the IL, it's just another guy they're going to have in that rotation. And even without him, they're still doing just fine. They're good. It's simple as that. I don't know if you want anything else on the Brewers, but I had to bring them up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to watch them in the playoffs. You're going to see, if they really still are the Milwaukee Brewers of the regular season that they have been of the past few years, or if they've turned a new leaf. I think it's going to be very, very interesting.
Definitely going to be interesting. All right, let's keep on going with some league-wide news here. The Padres last night, huge win. And again, oh my God, I freaking locked both the doors on Gianna. She's waiting outside. I thought I unlocked them.
Brutal.
Hold on. Now I got to go out and get her. Okay. Okay. I'll be back, but I'll leave with this. That the Padres right now are the second scariest team in the National League behind the Brewers.
Yes.
So I leave you with.
I watched them. He's gone. I'm talking to myself now, or anyone who's out there watching. But I watched the Padres play the D-backs on Tuesday night when I came home. D-backs were up in that game 2-0, and they ended up squandering a lead like they usually do. It was 5-3 San Diego in the 7th. And thank you, Tova. And then Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a 2-run shot off a 104-mile-per-hour fastball from Mason Miller, turned it around, tied the game, and went to extras. And the Padres found ways to dink and dunk and bloop and blast their way to an extra innings win. And yeah, they are really good. The lineup is totally complete. The bullpen and pitching staff is second to none, in my opinion. I think they have the best bullpen in the MLB. And again, like that team is another one who really can't get over the hump come postseason time. But I think it also feels a little different for them this year as well. It also kind of feels like the Padres have gotten over the hump a little bit. Hello.
Hey, man, there's Gianna.
Hi, G.
Okay, you hold on the floor for me?
Yeah, I was telling our lovely viewers how that I agree with that. I think the Padres are right up there with the rest of the National League. I kind of recapped what I watched on Tuesday night when they came back and beat Arizona, beat them in 11 innings, and kind of how they're a complete baseball team. But they also the same thing kind of with the Brewers. They're kind of also the regular season champions in a way. They always find a way to blow it come October, but I think it also feels a little different for them this year too. I mean, that bullpen is second to none compared to the rest of the league. And the lineup up and down, I don't really see any holes. You got Nando, you got Machado, Merrill, Cronenworth. It's a really, really deep baseball team. I forgot about Luis Arraez. Like, the team's really good. And if they can, hold the lead, get a lead in the 7th inning or later, they're going to be just fine. You have Suarez and Estrada and Miller to close out a game for you.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, they're just 2 games back of the Dodgers. And it feels like their division to lose. I know that they're 2 games back right now, but how they sit right now and how the Dodgers are playing, and it's not like they're playing bad baseball, but the Dodgers have been, up and down more than the Padres have, at least since the deadline. And just how the Padres are moving right now. Look, I thought their year to do it was 22 when they lost to the Phillies in the NLCS. I thought that was their best opportunity to go out there and win a World Series after they, took care of business in the NLDS and the wild card. I thought that they just looked like the best team. And look, Philly was playing great that year too. Can't knock them. And then I always look at last year because we always forget how good the Padres were just because they got to play the Dodgers in the NLDS. And they were a game away. If they don't lose to the Dodgers in the NLDS, that's them and the Mets and the NLCS. Like, that might be a Padre trip to the World Series.
Yeah.
And
Padres
they just
really good last year too.
They hit a juggernaut early. And sometimes that just happens. But I really do think the Padres could be the most slept-on team, even though they're playing out of their mind and people are really giving them attention and they're making noise. I mean, right now, if the season ended today, just based off of the last couple of years, I think my World Series favorite out of the National League is San Diego. And how many times have I been bit by that? Because they've yet to get there. But again, things feel different. And they could have very well been in the World Series last year. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I don't know. It just feels different. Everything feels different.
I'm checking the World Series odds right now. Give me a second. I got to find it. But, they're a sneaky team to come out of the National League. Everyone's all over the Dodgers and the Phillies. I mean, the Padres, they have better odds than the Yankees, than the Mets. They're plus 1,500 right now to win the World Series.
Yeah, I mean,
so $10 returns you $150 in winnings. Like, they're going to be a very fun team to watch come October because you're going to give the ball to Darvish and Cease, and who's their third guy?
King.
Michael King.
Michael
King. Like, those guys are lights out come October. Michael King is so good. I miss him. I will say I miss Michael King a lot. Hopefully they bring him back to the Bronx in free agency this offseason. And then you go to the bullpen. You go Jeremiah Estrada, Mason Miller, Robert Suarez. Like, you have a 2-run lead, you're good. Just let Nando and Machado and Arraez do their thing, and you're good. Like, you have a trip to the NLCS at least.
Yeah, and obviously Michael King has been. I said King, and I sat back on that because I forgot he's been hurt like majority of the year, but still he's like right there coming back, and he had really good numbers before he went down. So Yeah, that's three guys right there. It's like Milwaukee. You got three guys that you have absolute confidence in to go out there and make a run. Okay. So I think that's everything we want to get out of the league-wide news. Do we have one more? Oh, Toronto. Let's talk about Toronto real quick.
I hate Toronto.
Man, oh man, my poor Rocks.
Yeah,
That was a hell of a series. And look, not to say that it's not impressive what they did. 45 runs or 49 runs, I think it was during that series. But against the Rockies at Coors Field, we'll take it with a grain of salt. But it's impressive to score double-digit runs in every single game. You know, you only got up 9 over the series.
What I'm hoping now is that they got their runs out of their system for like the rest of the season, so they can just go back to kind of sucking, and the Yankees can jump them in the standings. That's my hope. I hope their 3-game set in Colorado was their World Series, and they stop caring about the season now, and they let the Yankees just have first place back. That's all I want.
I don't know, man. I do not know. This is a scary Blue Jays team, bro. Like
it makes no sense because like you look at the roster and like Addison Barger. If you told me Addison Barger would be a really good hitter this year, I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. Like if you told me his name before the season started, I thought you were talking like a waiter at my local restaurant. I don't know.
They got guys.
Like
and Shane Bean's not even back yet.
Yeah, I forgot about that, dude.
Oh,
but like I forgot, like Ernie Clement is on that team and he's producing. Like that, everyone 1 through 9 does something. You have the little egg Alejandro Kirk. He's like a 300 hitter. Dude, I'm taller than him and I'm 5'6". Like it's insane. He's a good. He leads in the blast category. He's top 5.
Well, he's a blast merchant. You know who we never talk about for the Blue Jays that never gets love? Bo Bichette leads Major League Baseball in hits almost every year. He's got an 816 OPS. Guy just gets on base.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Bo enough. He's just there.
I want him as my shortstop. I wish they traded him.
He's like
him last year.
Oh God, what do I even compare? When there's like a big flashy neon sign outside in Las Vegas, everybody only wants to look at the sign.
He's like a Waffle House.
He's like a Waffle House.
He's just consistent, and he's exactly what you want every single time. Whenever you need him, he's always there.
He's the nuts and bolts of that team.
Yeah,
he is.
He's the glue.
He is the nuts and bolts. All right, now I just want to get that out of the way. League-wide news done. Let's get to some football because football is finally back, and no better place to start than the Micah Parsons situation, which has been a complete and utter disaster. And I'm not saying a deal won't get done because this has almost been the bread and butter for Jerry Jones for the last 3 major contracts he's had to do. Dak Prescott was an adventure. CeeDee Lamb was a mess. Ezekiel Elliott was a disaster at the time, if you remember the Zeke who. How do you say that about your star running back at the time? And same thing with Micah Parsons now. It's just I don't know what it is about Jerry Jones and him just not wanting to do these deals. And Bunk brought it up in one of his videos he made the other day. So many of these other teams around the league lock up their guys a year or 2 before they go and hit free agency. And for whatever reason, the Cowboys don't operate like that, and they are in yet another contract turmoil. And look, Micah Parsons coming out and saying, I don't want to be a Cowboy anymore. That's not a good sign. And I do think a deal will get done because in today's game, it really is just about getting paid and supporting your family and whatnot and just making sure that you're loaded for the rest of your life. But why would you want to be a Cowboy? This is a great core. They continue to have great cores year in and year out, and they just can never get over a hump. Like, why would you want to be a Cowboy? Ever since the early 2010s, that's probably the most they've peaked. And even then, you couldn't get past an NFC championship. It's NFC divisional round. Like, what is it?
I think a lot of that falls on the coaching. I was never a huge Mike McCarthy guy. No. I know he was good with Rodgers in Green Bay. He's not the guy. I mean, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this. I know you're a Giant fan. I don't know how you feel about Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is at least a good quarterback. He's not top 5 or 10, but I think Prescott's at least a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. Like he's paid for a reason, and I think they got a lot of hate because they're the Dallas Cowboys. Every year you have all the Cowboys fans saying, "Oh, it's our year, it's our year." Like their win total this year is 7.5. That's insane. like they have a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL on the team. They have arguably the best defensive player in the NFL on their team, at least for now. I don't see him leaving. I think, one, it would be stupid for the Cowboys to get rid of him and not pay him. 2, I think it would be stupid for Parsons because he has such a good thing going in Dallas. Everyone loves him. He's a league-wide favorite, not just in Dallas. He is a phenomenal player. He's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year every single year. And you're doing it in one of, if not the biggest stages in the NFL in Dallas, because they're America's team. I don't necessarily agree, but that's who they are. And I think they got a lot of backlash because they're so much in the spotlight. It's definitely messy, but like you said, Jerry Jones has been doing this the past 2 or 3 big extensions. He's not going to move him. They already said they're not going to move him. Worst case scenario, he just doesn't play. He just sits out and loses that on the money he would be making. But again, that's stupid. Because I get it, like, you're one of the top guys in the NFL. You want your money because God, like, it could all be taken away tomorrow. Look at Rodgers with his Achilles. Look at Burrow with his ACLs. Like, these guys, obviously, they came back, but like, injuries do happen, and nothing's ever guaranteed. Like, this guy has played at a level that no one else can match over the past 3, 4, 5 years. Like, he deserves his money, and he wants it. I get it because you want to make sure you have that to fall back on. And you want to make sure you can provide for your family and the family that's later to come. I totally understand that. But to say you don't want to be a Dallas Cowboy anymore, like, the organization is giving you so much, but the city itself, like, they adore you. They love you. Like, how many kids walk around Dallas in Micah Parsons jerseys?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to say you don't want to be a Cowboy anymore, that doesn't sit right with me. And going to Twitter and doing things like that, that's just kind of childish. You go talk to the guy face to face. And it should be a private conversation.
And again, we talk about that, and I don't think Jerry Jones is the best at that either.
No.
But yeah, I mean, look again. I can't believe 7.5 is their win total. That feels like a sneaky.
I saw there's like 11 wins on the schedule. They play the Giants twice. They play the Commanders. I don't think the Commanders are gonna be that good. They're gonna beat the Commanders at least once.
They'll get them at least once.
Like, the schedule's not hard.
They'll probably only the Eagles. They'll probably whip them up and down. But other than that,
what else is new?
What else is new?
Like, you're telling me they're not going to beat the Giants twice? They're not going to beat the Jets? Come on, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you though on the Dak Prescott thing. He's a good quarterback.
People just like to hate because he's in Dallas. One bad game, and everyone's like, "Oh, this guy sucks," this and that. Like, is he Tom Brady? Is he Pat Mahomes? No, he doesn't need to be. He has the top 3 receiver in the NFL. One of the best receivers that I've ever seen. And granted, I'm only 21 years old. There's been a lot of receivers before me, but he's one of the best receivers I have ever seen. He catches everything. He is the way he breaks off the line of scrimmage and the way he can route a guy up any given play. Like, just get it to his hands, and you're gonna be just fine. Just bring Micah back, and you have the team, the family's happy again. Because if you break up Dak and CeeDee and Micah, like, it's gonna feel like SpongeBob without Gary.
It's a great way to put it. It's poetic the way you just put that. I mean, look, as a Giants fan, I'm cool with seeing Parsons on a new team, knowing my luck he'll probably be an Eagle. But I mean, yeah, it's annoying because you're just coming off of a really bad year for the Cowboys. Obviously, Prescott wasn't a part of it. And this is the last thing you want to do. You have a team finally back fully healthy. This is what's going to be. And again, down the road, Jeremy, we could sit here and blame Parsons and point the fingers at him and say, dude, just man up. But no, this is just how it is. We saw Myles Garrett. We see this all over the league. Players sit out year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're Jerry Jones, you got to get ahead of the curve. And you think that after your last 3 massive extension crisis, you would figure it out by now. But you don't. And it's still the same problem every time. It's frustrating. I feel bad for Cowboys fans. Zach, remember Zach in the group chat the other day? He didn't even want to go out. He felt sick to his stomach.
Yeah, I felt
bad for these guys.
Like, Micah Parsons is not leaving. They said they have no intention of trading him. Worst case scenario, he plays the next year. I think he's still under contract for this year and next year, or he's franchise tag eligible next year.
Dumbest thing.
He's not going anywhere. Will he be happy? I don't know. I can't tell you that, but he deserves his money, and there's no one that can argue that. He will get paid. If Jerry Jones doesn't, then obviously everything people say about him now is true. Like he's old, he's a little slower than he used to be. If he doesn't pay up and give Micah Parsons his money, then there will be talks that he needs to sell. But Zach also told me, I don't know how true this is, but Zach told me he saw a report where Jerry talked to Micah and literally gave him a deal, but he didn't go to Micah's agent about it. It was like $28 million a year. Like Micah's not gonna turn that down. Like what does Mahomes get? Like 40? Burrow gets like 42. You're getting almost $30 million as a defensive end or whatever he is, an edge rusher, whatever position he is. Like there's no way he's turning that down. His agent's never gonna say turn that down. So it's just stupidity on the end of Jerry Jones to not go to his agent.
And now look at this.
If that's
Aaron
true.
Donald and Micah Parsons tease fans with talks of Rams dream duo. I mean, it's
Dude,
not
I
going to
saw
happen.
a tweet that FanDuel put out yesterday, and in all caps, it was Micah Parsons to LA, Aaron Donald out of retirement. So I'm like, what? Why is FanDuel breaking this news to me? So I click on it, and it's just like a hypothetical. Why? Why would that ever happen?
They'd be scary, though. The Rams.
It would be scary, but like,
terrifying.
It's scary, but like, just attack one of their corners. Get the ball out quick. You'll be fine.
Yeah, easy to say when you're on the freaking pocket getting chased down by two of the scariest guys in the
Much easier
NFL.
to say from here on my chair than being, in the pocket and having to worry about those two guys coming off the edge.
All right, let's get some New York football talk here, and then we will wrap up. So, just really quick, give me like Jets Giants preseason starts tonight. I put it in the rundown. Nobody cares. I don't care about preseason football. It's fun for first week just to say football's back, but at the end of the day, I don't give two craps about it. I mean, Jets and Giants, low expectations could be a good thing. Jets.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're a fun offense, the Jets. It has potential.
Yeah. I love the Justin Fields move. I said it. I wanted him 2 years ago at the trade deadline. I love Justin Fields. I wasn't huge on him coming out of college, but like he was in a real bad situation in Chicago. He was in Pittsburgh last year. He was 4-2 and they benched him. Granted, they got back to the playoffs, whatever. They go 9-8, make the playoffs, whatever. But he was 4-2 last year. Like he was playing at least serviceable football. Like he brings an element to the Jets offense that I've never seen. He is a mobile quarterback. He can move with his own 2 feet. And I think the last guy that could have done that was Zach Wilson. And like that wasn't their MO. They wanted him to stay in the pocket. They wanted him to be a pocket presence. When Zach was playing his best, he was able to roll out left. He was so good rolling out left, throwing across his body. Like this is going to bring a different aspect to the Jets offense. And I'm not saying it's going to change anything for him, but like having a running committee of Justin Fields, Breece Hall, and Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis, like that is really, really good. I think that is going to help them open up the pass game. Now I know so far in training camp, the pass game has not been very good. Like the numbers for Fields aren't great, but it's also you're going against that New York Jets defense, who has, in my opinion, the greatest cornerback in the league. And it's also training camp. It doesn't matter until week 1. If he can't figure it out, the first month of the season, from week 1 to week 4, then we have an issue. But like training camp, get the woes out now, figure out, what you got. Because at the end of the day, like you're still throwing balls to Allen Lazard. That guy has bricks for hands. So a lot of Fields' numbers, I'm sure, are kind of skewed to looking more negative because guys can't catch. If you're not throwing to Gerrit Wilson, there's no guarantee the ball's getting caught. So that's the issue I have with the Jets passing game. But like I think they're going to be a very fun team. With Aaron, I love what Aaron Glenn has done. He came in, him and Darren Moogie, the new GM, they came in, they said, we're the New York Jets. We're built for this expletive, and we're ready to go. Like, if you're here, strap in, buckle up. And I love it. Like I said, I feel like Jake Weinstein. I feel like I'm part of the team again. But
I will say this with the Jets and Aaron Glenn coming in, and all of a sudden the Jets are hitting again in practice, Oklahoma drills. There's a new culture around this team that Robert Saleh desperately tried to build and just never worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And with Justin Fields, I only take training camp so much into consideration. I think the joint practices is probably when I start to look at it a little more, and the Jets and Giants have one soon. And the preseason games, obviously. But, Fields said it. He said, you're going to get comfortable when you're out there in a real game situation in the preseason, whatever it may be, because he's looked bad at training camp. No way to sugarcoat it. He can't throw down the field. He's
been bad.
checking down. Yeah, but that's what he's done. That's what scares me about is that he hasn't really thrown down the field since he's gotten to the NFL. He loves using his running backs, so Brees Hall is probably loving this.
And his tight
But,
ends. He loves tight ends.
loves his tight ends, loves to run, but you need to be able to go downfield. Garrett Wilson's explosive, man.
Yeah.
And he cannot consistently be explosive if you can't hit him over 15, 20 yards in the air. And that's got to change.
That's the aspect of the Jets offense that I don't think we've ever seen. The last guy that did that was Fitzpatrick, I think. You didn't see it with Mike White. You didn't see it with Wilson. You didn't see it with Rodgers. You didn't see it with Tyrod Taylor. You didn't see it with Chris Trevler. And I think it's so cool. We get Garrett and Justin Fields reunited in the NFL. I mean, they were so good together in college. Justin Fields was a lottery pick for a reason. I think he's going to show that this year. And then, granted, I'm not saying the Jets are going to go run the table, make the playoffs, win the Super Bowl, but I think they're going to be a competitive football team. Again, the manager, the head coach, whatever, they're the boss, right? I think that kind of dictates how the work environment really is. And it feels like everyone is bought in. Last year, or 2 years ago, when Rodgers came in, it felt like he was running the show. Now it's Glenn, it's Moogie, and the new coordinators. I don't even know their names, but I don't care. It's not what's his face, Hackett anymore. It's not Nathaniel Hackett.
Daniel Hackett, baby. Brought in because of Rodgers.
Yeah. So listen, I feel like the team is bought in, and we feel like the Lions B team, like Lions practice squad. But if that's what it's going to take to just make the right decisions, if they can continue to make the right decisions week in and a week out and keep these guys healthy and just build a team around Garrett and Sauce and Fields, if he shows out this year, this contract is a steal. Go out there. Winning 7 games is kind of like purgatory. They're going to have the same, 10th to 15th pick every year, but they are going to be a competitive football team because their defense is always so good. And regardless of how Fields moves the ball through the air, they're always going to be able to rely on the run game. You have a 4-headed monster, I think, with the guys they have. Brees Hall is a top 7, top 5 running back in the NFL. Fields can run he's a worse Lamar Jackson with his feet. And Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis are great to complement those guys when they need a break. I'm worried about the pass game, but again, training camp, I only look so deep into it. I'm so excited for the Jets to come back, and I really think this year is going to be it's going to show that they are not the New York Jets anymore. They are the Aaron Glenn New York Jets. And
I mean, if the Jets win 7-8 games, that feels good. That feels like
that feels like the Lions' first year with second year with Campbell. Their second year with Campbell. That's what it's going to feel like. I really think they're going to go down that path. They're not going to go and be a 13-win, 14-win team next year, 2 years from now. But again, if they can continue to make the right decisions week in, week out, they're going to be just fine.
And we'll see with them. And then we'll talk a little Giants before we get out of here. Giants always seem like the training camp warriors. It's always, oh man, look at these guys. They look good. And Cam Scadaboo plays 5th running back, but I mean, you can only go so far. And to say an unofficial depth chart, you see this every time with rookies. He'll be the backup by the time the season gets going.
Mm-hmm.
Their Devin Singletary might be, because I know how much Dable loves Singletary, but with Tyrone Tracy and Scadaboo, I think it's all you need. And look, I mean,
forgot about Tracy, dude.
A lot of people did.
He's really
over
good.
1,000. Dude, he had over 1,000 scrimmage yards, dude. He's good.
There's no way that offense isn't going to be at least be fun to watch. Whether it's Russell Wilson or Jameis or Dart or DeVito, whoever's playing under center, that's going to be fun to watch. And you have neighbors on the outside. You're going to have either Tracy or Scatterbo in the backfield. That's going to be fun to watch. They have names on that team who can play. And I think they're my prediction for the Giants this year, they're not going to win many games. They're going to cover the spread a lot.
Good teams win. Great teams cover.
They're going to cover the number.
I will say this about Russell Wilson. The vibe around Russell Wilson feels so different from years past.
Yeah.
Ever since he stepped foot into Giants training camp, it's felt like this guy's a leader. This is the quarterback that we've been needing. He's going to be the perfect guy for this team. Whereas for the Steelers and for the Broncos, it was a lot of Russell Wilson's boring. Nobody's really rallying behind Russell Wilson. The guy's not a leader. The guy's not a good enough football player. And it's fascinating to me to see
It's
how
weird, right?
different situations can dictate different feelings behind a player. With the
Hmm.
Broncos and the Steelers, they were ready to win now, and he wasn't meeting expectations. With the Giants, they're not expecting him to be the superstar quarterback like those last two teams were. They're just looking to him to be a good leader, somebody who can go deep. I mean, when Daniel Jones is the guy that you got to follow up behind, you feel good. And I
Definitely feel
love
good.
Daniel Jones, but it feels good. So it's weird that Russell Wilson, we're talking about him in such a positive light that we haven't for the past 2 or 3 years now. And he could suck, but at the end of the day, his job is to teach Jackson Dart. His job is to keep the Giants offense competitive. It's not to go out there and win. It's not to go and get them to the playoffs. And that is a huge burden off the guy's shoulder that for the first time, he feels free. It feels like the Giants and Jets are playing with house money this year.
Yeah,
And
and
for
it's
the first time,
nice.
it feels good. It's no expectations, but it'll be fun. And that's, I think, how I want to leave it as, if you want anything else.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a fun team. I think that's the best way to put it, man. They're going to be fun to watch. Every week, you're going to have Malik Neighbors to the outside of either Russ or Winston. And I like what you brought up with Russ. That's a really good point. Um, he's like going to Denver or going to Pittsburgh. Those are teams who are ready to take the leap and win now, like you said. With the Giants, he like I feel like this is such a good role for him, being a mentor, going out there and showing Dart, how to play quarterback in the NFL, what it takes on a daily
Yeah.
basis, what it takes to win. And are the Giants ready to win? No, they're not. The roster isn't there. But when you have a guy as talented as Dart with all that arm talent, and you have a guy like Russ who has won at the highest level, who has been on such great teams throughout his career, I think it's a great role for him to be in. I don't know if he's going to start every week, if he's going to play past like week 7. I think you're going to see Dart this year, probably halfway through the year.
I
And
hope
if it's
we
not
don't.
you're going to see Winston, I think.
I'm
Like, I don't
I'm
think you see
sure
Russ all year.
I'm sure that my
Hmm.
opinion will change as the season goes on, but I
Yeah,
really hope we don't see Jackson Dart.
I agree with that because, I mean, dude, look at all the guys who sit first, like
Yeah,
Mahomes and Hurts, and look at guys who don't, like Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones, and all the failed like look at the Jets, like all the failed experiments. Sam Darnold, um, like look, just those guys who'd come in and they have to get thrown into the fire right away in a bad situation. It's tough. Even Will Levis, like, is
yeah,
he great? I don't know, but that Titan team's brutal.
yeah.
It's a bad situation. Like coming in and sitting, and even if it's only for half the season, just getting to know what NFL football is like and watching from a guy like Russell Wilson or even Jameis Winston, like that is huge for a guy's career.
Like, I'll be honest, I might be frustrated in the middle of the season, but as of right now, if something happens to Russ, if he's not playing well, or if he like goes down with injury, God forbid, never wish it on anybody. Like, I'd rather see Jameis Winston trot
Oh
out
yeah,
there than
because
Jackson
that's
Dart.
fun. That's also fun football.
It's also fun, exactly. And for Jackson Dart, is Jameis Winston good? No, he is,
But
but
he's fun.
he's fun.
He will put
And the
people in the seat.
Giants, that feels like the whole vibe around the Giants this year is that they want to be fun again. They
Yeah,
haven't been fun in so long. Daniel Jones, I've defended the guy tooth and nail. He was such a blocker for the team to be
he's so
fun.
boring.
And with Jackson Dart, he's flashy, but flashy doesn't always translate to ready. I mean, I think you can argue he was taken a little too high, but the Giants needed their quarterback. They felt they wanted it this year. Sure, you got your guy. You didn't reach for the 6th pick like you did with Daniel Jones, but you won the late rounds of the draft. You got who you wanted early on in Abdul Carter. I'm cool with it,
Yeah,
and I
seems like
think
you're making the right moves.
yeah, a year or two, he'll be NFL ready. I'm not saying he'll be a superstar, but he'll be serviceable, and you
He
go
will
from there.
be he will be a serviceable guy. And again,
Yeah,
like learning from a guy who has a Super Bowl and learning from Jameis Winston, who has thrown 45 touchdowns in a season compared to like 45 interceptions in a season. It'll be like they're going to be. I don't know if this is going to stick, but they're going to remind me of the Mets from last year, not with the
yeah,
talent, but like with how much
vibes.
fun and how much energy they play with.
Yeah, that's fair. Giants could lose all their games, but as long as it's these awesome, like gutsy wins, I think the best thing for an NFL team like the Giants is to be gutsy and still lose. You don't lose your pick. Obviously, I root for wins, but you don't lose your picks, and you show promise.
Just cover the spread.
Cover the spread. That's all we can ask for. Okay, that'll do it. From No Good Takes, episode 18. We went a while this time. Jeremy Horowitz, Giuseppe Alveri saying thank you so much for watching. Let's get our plugs out of the way. Bunk has the bunker. Mike has mic'd up. The Burrows is Mike and Bunk. JM and Mike do Hardline Sports Talk. Gabe is on the playbook. Is that Grimace, dude? Really? Get the hell out of here with that crap. And we are the idiots that make up the No Good Takes podcast. We're just a couple of doofuses lucky enough with the platform to share our takes. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys all on Tuesday for episode 19. And hopefully, the Mets and Yankees are giving us something good to talk about. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll catch you all on Tuesday. Go check out all the other great content produced by BTO Media.